Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Y'all done made the GOAT mad. Y'all done made the GOAT mad, and I don't blame her, okay? It's already too much foolishness going on with this crooked WNBA CBA stance that they're taking, okay? She already got to deal with that.
That's not just frustration. That's someone who's been dealing with incompetence at every level, and they just hit their breaking point. Caitlin Clark publicly called out the Indiana Fever's social media team after they posted a video so distorted it gave her a migraine. And that's not even the real story here.
Dealing with Caitlin Clark, you need to be on point all the time, all the way across the board. If you're not gonna come correct, don't come at all. Okay, if you're gonna be anything, be for real. Have it together, all right? Don't come around here half-stepping. We don't got time for no half-stepping around here. Here it says, courtesy of
when your franchise player has to tell you to get it together on Instagram, that's not about video quality. That's about a pattern. The Fever posted a highlight reel of Aliyah Boston's blocks from Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 league in Miami. Boston's been dominant there, averaging a league-leading 2.2 blocks per game for Phantom BC. But when Indiana tried to celebrate their own players' success, they posted footage so compressed and distorted that fans couldn't even watch it. The video looked like it was uploaded through a flip phone from 2006.
Clark had something to say after the Indiana Fever sent the message on Aliyah Boston. Here in the article, it says, Caitlin Clark, hold on this right here. Okay, yeah, here we go. Caitlin Clark's second season. Am I able to get this off of here? Why is this? Whatever.
Clark's comment was direct. Respectfully, how am I supposed to watch this? Now I have a migraine. That's the kind of public criticism you don't see from star players about their own organization unless there's already tension underneath. And there is. Because while the Fever's social media team is posting unwatchable content, head coach Stephanie White has been running around making it clear whose team she thinks this really is.
An assist, the former Hawkeye star earned her second All-Star selection and was named one of the 10 starters. And then it says here, but Clark wasn't the only Indiana star to make the All-Star game. Boston and Mitchell joined her. In fact, Boston is coming off the best season of her 3-year career. She averaged a career-high 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and a team-high 1 block per game. This was good enough to earn the former South Carolina forward her first WNBA All-Defensive nod. Boston has remained active in the basketball world during the
Let's talk about what actually happened in Clark's second season, because the narrative matters here. She played just 13 games due to a combination of groin and ankle injuries. Despite the limited court time, she still averaged 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 9 assists. That production earned her a second consecutive All-Star selection as one of the 10 starters. But here's what's interesting. The Fever didn't collapse without her. Aliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell powered the team all the way to the semifinals of the 2025 playoffs before falling to the Las Vegas Aces in overtime of Game 5. Boston had the best season of her 3-year career, posting career highs across the board with 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and a team-high 1 block per game. That performance earned her first WNBA All-Defensive Team honors. Mitchell was equally impressive, and suddenly, there's this narrative floating around Indianapolis that maybe this team doesn't revolve around Caitlin Clark after all.
White running around talking about how Kelsey, you're not on point. You got Kelsey Mitchell talking about how she could just look at Stephanie White and tell she just believes in her, and Stephanie White done told her it's her team. Y'all not on point. Y'all not on point. Everybody needs to get on point.
That's the context for why this social media incident matters more than it seems. When Stephanie White talks about how she can just look at Kelsey Mitchell and Mitchell knows she believes in her, when she's calling it her team, that's not coach speak. That's a philosophical statement. And Caitlin Clark is watching all of this while the organization can't even post a competent highlight video. The technical failure is embarrassing enough. In 2025, with the WNBA's increased media investment and the Fever being one of the league's most watched teams because of Clark, there's no excuse for posting content that looks like corrupted footage. Fans immediately roasted the team in the comments. The video was stretched, pixelated, and nearly unwatchable. For a franchise that should be capitalizing on having the biggest draw in women's basketball, this is amateur hour.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that y'all did this. like not having it together. I mean, come on, man. Come on. She's already annoyed with the CBA. Y'all do know she's not forced to stay with Indiana forever. That contract is going to be up soon. Y'all do know that, right? Y'all should get on point. Y'all should stop running around talking about other people are the number one priority. Y'all should stop talking about how this is somebody else's team. Y'all should stop doing all of that, actually. Y'all need to get it together before she's gone. Let's take a look at this conversation.
But the bigger issue is what this represents. Clark is already frustrated with the WNBPA and their handling of the CBA negotiations. The collective bargaining agreement talks have hit a complete stalemate, putting the entire 2026 season in jeopardy. The league and players can't agree on revenue sharing, salary structures, or expansion terms. And Clark, along with several other players, has been vocal about feeling like the WNBPA is being greedy and unrealistic in their demands. Multiple players have gone on record saying they feel the Players Association is overreaching. The proposed CBA demands include revenue splits that don't account for the league's actual financial situation. And while the WNBPA claims they're fighting for fair compensation, some players have privately expressed concern that the hardline stance could kill the momentum the league has built over the past 2 seasons.
As now, I played parts of this, and this is the tail end of them discussing the state of the CBA.
Yeah, and then Twitter and the internet, they like to read the tea leaves, and look, they were right. Angel Reese returned to Unrivaled, so they be getting it right sometimes. We can't just always knock them and complain and say they don't know what they're talking about, and then sometimes they do get it right. But it was announced that Breanna Stewart is going to be returning to EuroLeague play. Okay, and that surprised some people because of the timing for it.
It wasn't the timing, it's the whole thing.
Now let's talk about Unrivaled, because this is where the contradictions become impossible to ignore. The 3-on-3 league was supposedly created so WNBA players wouldn't have to go overseas during the off-season. The pitch was simple: play domestically, avoid the physical toll of international travel, make competitive money, and stay fresh for the WNBA season. Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier founded the league with that exact mission statement. But then Grinner Asur announced she's returning to play overseas despite being in Unrivaled. So what exactly was the point? If players are doing both Unrivaled and international leagues, they're not reducing their workload, they're adding to it. And this is happening while those same players, through the WNBPA, are demanding the WNBA schedule be reduced because the season is too physically demanding.
And for one, it's a conflict of interest. I don't care what none of y'all say. This whole Unrivaled situation, all of this stuff is a conflict of interest. Okay? They said that Unrivaled was being created so that people did not have to go overseas. Well, you're in Unrivaled, so what are you still going overseas for? Y'all said it was too much on your body. Why are you doing it then? Why are you doing it? That's what I'm saying. A lot of the people in the WNBPA, they've been lying this whole time, bro. I'm be honest with y'all. A lot of people in the WNBPA been lying. And
the conflict of interest is glaring. Stewart and Collier are both WNBPA representatives. They're negotiating for reduced WNBA schedules and increased salaries while simultaneously running a competing league that adds games to players' annual workload. When players claim they need shorter seasons for health reasons but then voluntarily play in multiple leagues, it undermines their bargaining position. And it makes the WNBPA's demands look less like worker advocacy and more like a cash grab. Clark has every right to be skeptical of the entire situation. She's watching players who claim to be fighting for the good of the league make decisions that seem entirely self-interested. She's watching her own coach prioritize other players publicly. She's watching her organization fail at basic competency, like posting a watchable video. And she's doing all of this while knowing her contract won't last forever.
What is going on? And I will be giving you all updates right here on Keep the Vision. Get down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, man. Let's Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. Indiana Fever. Y'all need to get on.
Here's what the Indiana Fever needs to understand. Caitlin Clark is not obligated to stay in Indianapolis. Her rookie contract runs through 2027. But after that, she's a free agent. And if the organization continues to demonstrate this level of dysfunction across multiple departments, why would she resign? The Fever have the most marketable player in women's basketball. Clark drives ratings, sells tickets, and generates sponsorship revenue that benefits the entire organization. When she plays, people watch. When she doesn't, the numbers drop significantly. That's not opinion. That's measurable fact reflected in viewership data from her rookie season and the attendance figures at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. But marketability only matters if the organization can capitalize on it competently. And right now, they can't even handle social media. That's not a small thing. Social media is how modern franchises build their brand, engage with fans, and create content that extends beyond game nights. If the Fever can't execute something that basic, what does that say about their ability to build a championship infrastructure around their star player? The video incident is a symptom of a larger problem. It's the same organizational mindset that allows a head coach to publicly diminish the franchise player's importance. It's the same lack of attention to detail that leads to mixed messaging about team hierarchy. It's the same complacency that assumes Clark will just accept whatever the organization does because she's under contract. That assumption is dangerous, because Clark has options. In 2027, when her contract expires, she could sign anywhere. And if the Fever haven't demonstrated they're serious about building around her, why wouldn't she go to a franchise that has its act together? The New York Liberty have proven they can build a championship team. The Las Vegas Aces have won multiple titles with strong organizational structure. The Minnesota Lynx have a history of excellence and player development. Indianapolis has passionate fans and a great basketball market. But passion doesn't win championships. Competence does. And the Fever are showing concerning signs of incompetence at multiple levels. The social media failure is embarrassing. Stephanie White's comments about team hierarchy are concerning. The inability to manage basic public relations around their star player is alarming. Clark's public comment wasn't just about a bad video. It was a warning shot. It was her way of saying, "I'm paying attention and I'm not impressed." When a player of her caliber feels the need to publicly criticize the organization, that's a red flag that management should take seriously. Because the next step after public criticism is private conversations with agents about future plans. The Fever's response to this incident will tell us everything we need to know about whether they understand what's at stake. Will they dismiss it as a minor social media mistake? Or will they recognize it as a symptom of organizational dysfunction that needs immediate attention? Will they continue letting Stephanie White create ambiguity about team hierarchy? Or will they make it crystal clear that Caitlin Clark is the franchise cornerstone and everyone else's role is to support that? The CBA situation makes all of this more complicated. If the 2026 season gets canceled because the WNBA and the league can't reach an agreement, that's a year of Caitlin's prime wasted. That's a year of development and championship contention gone. And if that happens, the Fever better make sure they're doing everything else perfectly, because they won't have any margin for error when she evaluates her future. So here's the bottom line. The Indiana Fever need to get on point immediately. Fix the social media department, clarify the team hierarchy. Stop creating unnecessary drama around your franchise player, because Caitlin Clark is already dealing with a dysfunctional players association and a CBA negotiation that could derail her career momentum. She doesn't need her own organization adding to the chaos. The clock is ticking, not just on the CBA negotiations, but on the Fever's window to prove they deserve to keep the best player in women's basketball. Right now, they're failing that test, and if they don't fix it fast, they're going to lose her. Not because she's difficult or demanding, but because she has standards, and those standards include basic competence. What do you think? Is Caitlin Clark justified in calling out the Fever publicly, or should she have handled this privately? And more importantly, if you were her, would you re-sign with Indianapolis after your contract expires, or would you look for an organization that has its act together? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this situation is only going to get more interesting as we get closer to 2027.